Welcome back to the Classical Guitar Build. Today we're starting work on the neck. This is going to be a little bit of a refresher for myself, but I'm going to try to walk you guys through how to glue together a neck from a neck blank. This is the mahogany neck blank that we are working with. This has two scales on it, a Martin long at 25.34 inches and then a Martin short at 24.9 inches. We can use the Martin long, which is great because that's the one that I've always used. So these notches indicate the fret positions. This first notch is for the nut, and so when you count it, it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna go here. I want the headstock. We need to measure actually how long we want our headstock. I've been doing my headstocks at 7 inches. Whoa. If that's the headstock, we need to leave a 1/4 inch for the nut because that's how thick I make the nuts. So we're gonna go out a 1/4 inch. There, mark another line. Okay. That line is where the fretboard starts. So that's the nut. That's the first fret, second, third, fourth, fifth. We're going to count all the way to the 12th fret and we're going to mark it. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right here, we're going to count it again. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Now, what we need to do is we need to realize that this area is going to be our mortise tendon on this side and our heel on this side. So it's very important that we have enough material on both of them. However, our mortise is going to go into here, our tendon is going to go on to the neck. But very important that you remember how much material you had in your neck block so that you don't blow through it when you try to router out your mortise. And so what are my measurements? 5/8 mortise is what I wrote down. That means from this line, because that is the top of the body, it's 5/8 from here to the end of the tenon because the mortise is 5/8. So that means that the tenon is also going to be 5/8. That's just past 1/2 inch. So that is how big our mortise is going to, or tenon is going to be. That seems really small. No, but it is big enough for that. Okay. And now how far do we want our heel to stick out? I think before I decided I wanted my heel to be 1 inch out. Puts me to here. That's this line, right? That's the body joint, that's the tenon. And so all of this material, we're going to cut this thick and stack it on the back so that we have the height for our heel. We might not need all of that, or maybe we don't have enough, and so it's a good idea to measure. But I think this time, for this guitar, I want it to go all the way flush with the back. And so 8.6 centimeters, 8.7 centimeters. What's that in imperial? 3 and 30 seconds. I hate that shit. Oh, but the end cap. We will figure out the end cap later. I want to make the end cap the same thickness as the binding. There to the end of the binding is just shy of 8.2 centimeters. Back to here. That means that we need this distance to be 8.2. Let's see, the thickness of this is 2.5 centimeters. So we need at least 3 stacks. So that's 1, and then 2 more that we need to glue on. Cool, okay, so we're going to take this distance between the end of the tenon and the end of the heel. Take that distance, which is probably easier in imperial. Why is it never just an easy? Okay, 5/8. It's 1 5/8. True. Why does that not look 90? No, it is. Okay, never mind. 1 5/8 right there. Bah. This one is headstock. This is the actual neck. This one is the heel. That's the body joint. Tenon, heel block, heel block, heel block, and this one is just waist. Does that make sense to you? Now we have everything marked out, so I'm going to show you now how I cut them and how we end up with something that looks like this. Okay, first things first, you're gonna help yourself out a lot if you make one of these. This is a neck scarf cutting joint, scarf joint cutting jig. Ooh, we got there. Basically, it's a 15-degree angle relative to the braid. The braid, Bobby, the braid. 15-degree angle relative to the blade. So if the blade's going that way, you go boop, 15 degrees that way. You can put your neck in it, you can clamp it, you can cut it exactly where you need it, and it's gonna be straight, it's gonna be good. And so we can just do that right now. So this thing just slides right into the grooves on the bandsaw. So we can then just slide it back and forth. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna strike a 15-degree angle on this before we go. That way I just know that I'm staying on my line. The blade's gonna go right there. Clamp it. Not right there though, because that's gonna get cut. Right there. Okay, that came off a little bit slanted. I'm not entirely sure why. So we gotta clean it up. Something's off here. Something's not quite square, I think, or plumb, or whatever it is. Something's not quite lined up on that. That sucks, but that's okay. We just go back through and we clean it up by hand. We have two things to fix. The first one is that gap right there. If that isn't completely flush, we're not going to be able to get good contact with our joint, with our glue, and the entire thing's just going to fall apart. I've had it happen before. Not fun. The next thing we need to fix is this. Obviously doesn't line up. The first thing we need to do is draw a straight line off of that, because how else do we know when we're completely square? Oops. Now when we line up our scarf joint and close it, you can see that there's no gap anymore. And so now if we glue that together, we make sure that it's just all still flat and square with itself, then that problem will go away after we glue it. These ones don't need to be super accurate. This one kind of does, so. We have the neck, we have the headstock, we have our heel material. Alright, and this is how I glue it all together. So I have that waste material right here. It is square. I have a clamp here that okay, so the main issue is that when you go to squeeze this together, it's going to pull that one that way and that one that way, so they're going to go apart. So you need to put stoppers on either side. So I've put this clamp to stop the front, and it is positioned to where when I push this down, it's going to line up with that mark. Come on. Right there. It's going to line up with that. We're going to clamp the headstock first. Okay? Then we're going to come back here, and we're just going to make sure that that is square with the neck, and then all these heel blocks are pushed that way and pushed together on the neck. That way everything is in a line. Okay. Okay, the camera died at some point. My apologies. Basically, we've got the heel on now. It's looking pretty good. But the headstock had moved on me a little bit, and so we're gonna readjust real fast before I lock it down. Okay. Alright. Push it down. Okay, everything is clamped down. Everything's on the right side, which is good. Alright, it has been a day and a half, I think, because I've been working and in the valley, so I haven't been home, but still a little sick. Really hoping that this turned out well. Oh, yeah. There we go. That's looking all right. Obviously, there's still a lot that we have to do. This worked out really well. I'll use this in the future for glue ups like that.